Hello everyone and welcome to another video. It's been so long since I've done one, but whenever I find a good article to do video about, whatever it may be, then I jump on and do a video on the article, reading the article, doing my commentary and whatnot. So today I have an article. It's Never Before Seen Bible Chapter Discovering UV Light. Precision Made Easy. Next Generation Oscilloscope for Accelerated Insight. Because people have been writing and rewriting the Bible, and some chapters have been lost and not put in the Bible because they didn't find it, or people would write over old things, and those old chapters would get erased or whatever, But there's always archaeologists excavating and looking for things, and they find different chapters of the Bible, and now they're able to come up with new machines like the oscilloscope that is able to use UV light to be able to see the writing and decipher the new chapter of the Bible. Scientists have found a long-lost hidden chapter of biblical text nearly 1,500 years after it was written. The lost section represents one of the earliest translations of the Gospel, according to the study published recently in the journal New Testament Studies. So, it must be a New chapter of one of the New Testaments. Ultraviolet photography was used to find the chapter hidden underneath 3 layers of text by researchers including Gregory Kessel from the Austrian Academy of Science. So, it was text that was written behind lots of other text. And that's exciting that they were able to uncover that with new technology. Until recently, only 2 manuscripts were known to contain the old Syriac translation of the Gospel, Dr. Kessel said. One of these is in the British Library in London, and another one was discovered in St. Catherine's Monastery at Mount Sinai. Researchers said the newly discovered text is an interpretation of the Bible's Matthew chapter 12 that was originally translated as part of the old Syriac translations about 1,500 years ago. So, it's not a new chapter, it's just an interpretation of one of the chapters in the book of Matthew. They said that the fragment is so far the only known remnant of the 4th manuscript that attests to the old Syriac version, offering a unique gateway to the early phase in the history of the textual transmission of the gospel. So, it gives us a look into history and how the Gospels were translated and transmitted. The text also offers fresh insight into differences in information contained in translation. Because when you translate things, you always lose context and meaning of different things. Context. You always lose the context and meaning, and this is exciting and interesting to see how close or how far away they were to the original text in translation. For instance, while the original Greek of Matthew chapter 12 verse 1 says, "At the time Jesus went through the grain fields on the Sabbath, and his disciples became hungry and began to pick the heads of grain and eat." The Syriac translation says, "began to pick the heads of grain, rub them in their hands, and eat." Yes, because you have to rub them. Because you can't just pick a grain of wheat and just eat it. Because when you rub it in your hand, because it's just not edible. But if you rub it in your hands, all the grains fall off into your palm, and then you're able to eat it. So that's a little verse to show the difference in translation. But it's not that far off, you know. As far as the dating of the Gospel book is concerned, there can be no doubt that it was produced no later than the 6th century, scientists wrote in a study. Despite a limited number of dated manuscripts from this period, comparison with dated Syriac manuscripts allows us to narrow down a possible time frame to the first half of the 6th century, they added. Due to the scarcity of parchment in the region about 1,300 years ago, pages were often reused, mostly by erasing the earlier biblical text. This discovery proves how productive and important the interplay between modern digital technologies and basic research can be when dealing with medieval manuscripts, said Claudia Rapp, director of the Institute of Medieval Research at the Austrian Academy of Science. Thank you, everybody, for joining me to hear this little bit of religious news and findings. It's so great to see what's happening in the science world, in the biblical world, and how science can help us uncover new things. And always what's happening in religion to Christianity and Catholicism is always nice to read and share with others what has been found. And that's one of my new interests, as well as other things I like to share in my videos. Anyway, thank you for listening, and see you next time I find something interesting to share with you guys. Have a great day.